What's up, Bonnet Nation? Jack Haskell, joined by Ryan Adio, Gavin Watson, and Ryan Lombardi from Washington, D.C., the site of the Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Championship. Gentlemen, we witnessed one of the greatest comebacks in maybe all of college basketball this season as the St. Bonaventure Bonnies defeated the Duquesne Dukes in second-round Atlantic 10 tournament action for a score of 64-59. Fueled by a 13-1 run to end the game, leaving the Duquesne Dukes scoreless over the last 4 minutes of the game, powered by who else but Melvin Council Jr.
If you want to be a dog, you got to be a dog. And if you're not a dog, then you're dog food, Jack. Exactly right. Melvin took the game into his own hands today and absolutely just took over. You know, during a run where the Bonnies pulled within 5, they were down 13, they pulled within 5. Do you know how many steals Melvin had during that run?
There was, I think he had 4 consecutive
steals. He had
steals,
4 consecutive steals during that run to cut the deficit to 5. He played unreal. There's a reason he got the Bonnie belt today.
Yes.
And he is the big reason why that St. Bonaventure is advancing to the quarterfinals.
I mean, talk about putting the team on your back. That is exactly what he did today. He said, everybody get on. We're going to the next round here.
I turned to Gavin in real time, and I was like, does Melvin have every single steal for this team right now?
Yeah.
And I mean,
he didn't, but he was pretty close to it.
St. Bonaventure had 11 steals. 9 of them came in the second half. LeJay Jones had 3 second-half steals as well. He played unreal. Both of those guys had 18 points each. It was just an unreal game. To think that they trailed by as many as 13 points. And for most of the game, they trailed by like 7, 9, 8. Like, it was just, they never pulled within 5 until the end of the game.
I mean, just an incredible, inspiring run to end the game. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. It's gone. Granted, most in part due to some of the questionable officiating, even on both ends, I'll admit. But nonetheless, I mean, one of the best endings to a basketball game that I've ever been able to witness live.
Yeah, it was getting dicey because Duquesne had a 7-point lead with under 4 minutes to go, and then it was a Noel Brown layup followed by a LeJay Jones 3-pointer for his like 18th point of the day. That pulled the Bonnies within 2 and gave them a shot. Like, once that happened, like, you saw all of Bonnet Nation. Shout out Bonnet Nation, by the way. They were loud. They were proud. And I know you guys were part of that today. But you can even just see the difference. Like, I stayed after for the St. Louis Davidson game, and the stands were just empty compared to how the Bonnies packed the place. But no, they were loud. And as soon as we pulled within 2, like, it just felt like there's no way we lose this game now.
Absolutely. Looking at individual numbers for the Bonnies, a little bit of a quiet afternoon with the co-captain, Noel Brown. In 32 minutes played, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 9 points. Jonah Hinton in 29 minutes played, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 7 points. As we mentioned, the other co-captain, Melvin Council Jr., putting this team on his back, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, all of which coming in the second half.
And Melvin also had 2 blocks, but something to note on Noel Brown is, he had, like you said, a quiet 9 points, but at the same time, Noel Brown started the game with 3 turnovers. St. Bonaventure had 4 turnovers in like the first 4 minutes. 3 of those were Noel Brown's, but he really cleaned it up. He started rebounding more, and he really started to play well.
Melvin Council rounding out that stat line with 18 points. LeJay Jones also in 40 minutes played, tying that 18-point margin, adding 3 assists and 8 rebounds. I mean, let's talk about LeJay Jones rebounding the last 2 games. I mean, Boardman gets paid.
Yeah. I mean, LeJay Jones, he's just, like I said this yesterday, I think he's just the heart of this team at this point. I mean, next to Melvin, obviously, but like he's kind of that underrated guy where if he puts up a lot of points, I feel like I've said this so many times over the last few days, if he puts up a lot of points, the Bonnies end up doing really well.
Absolutely. And rounding out the starting 5 for the Brown and White, Chance Moore in 36 minutes played, grabbing 7 boards to go with an assist, a steal, a block, and 6 points. And even off the bench, in minimal minutes played, Dwayne Thompson and Noah Belonga, 8 and 15 points respectively. Both gave the Bonnies 3 points with a triple.
Yeah, I will say with Chance Moore too, he ran into a little bit of foul trouble. Some of those fouls, like you said, could have been questionable, maybe some avoided, but Chance Moore still played 36 minutes and had 4 fouls. There was about 5 minutes left in the game. He checked back into the game with those 4 fouls, and he played really clean basketball and was a big part of that run.
Absolutely. And you mentioned how many minutes that these guys have had to play. LeJay Jones was actually asked at the post-game press conference about preparing for a game tomorrow after playing all 40 minutes. And Mark Schmidt actually intervened and said, 18 to 22-year-olds never get tired. When you're dead, you can sleep. Which, I mean, absolutely electric coming from who else but Mark Schmidt.
Yeah, no, that was a great quote. But also during that press conference, Melvin said, give me a hot shower and I'm ready to go for 40 more minutes. So, no, the guys are ready. They're hungry. They want back at VCU. Obviously, they lost at VCU, and they played a very solid first half against them. But that was a game. That was the first time we saw this, like, complete game juggernaut of five kids on the floor at once, just playing that entire game. Like, no really subs, I don't think, checked in the entire first half that second time against VCU. So, get them tomorrow. These guys are a little bit more used to playing a complete 40 minutes. I don't know. I like Bonaventure's chances when they get back on them for the season series.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you can rest in the off season, not now.
Yeah.
These playoffs are different. You need to win. You need to be out there every day. So you can rest in the off season.
And it's exactly what we talked about last night with Melvin Council. It's like he is so hungry. Obviously, now today we know he has that extra year of eligibility, but still, we don't know if he's going to take it. So it's that enthusiasm and that ride on the unknown of what's next that's going to propel them. And Melvin, we saw it today. He's just a different animal in March.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, Gavin, rest in the offseason, but at the same time, give him a breather today. I mean, a lot of these guys,
obviously.
they're banged up. I mean, we talked yesterday about some of the Bonnie's injuries. We saw today Melvin Council looked like he had tweaked his hand a little bit, but thus he was fine. Dwayne Thompson limping a little bit. It was revealed pregame that he had sprained his ankle and was playing on a sprained ankle. But, I mean, you looked at his effort out there, and he was still giving it his all in the 8 minutes that he played.
Yeah, he knocked down a clutch three-pointer. I mean, that was really all he did today, but it was kind of like a sidestep three and just nothing but net. It was a good feeling for the kid.
Yeah, I think in the first half, honestly, I thought the Bonnies looked really rattled. Like they weren't, they almost weren't ready to be
I
under
agree.
the lights. And I think something happened in that locker room where they're like, "This is it. You play now, and someone needs to take charge, or you all go home." And that's what happened. And honestly, who else to do that but Mark Schmidt?
Most notably, Jonah Hinton said to Melvin Council with less than a minute remaining, he said, "You're a dog. Bring us home."
Jack, are you just taking all these quotes from my article?
I didn't even read your article.
Where'd you get that from?
Wow.
The wonderful world of Twitter, now known as X, apparently.
Hasselbaum. I mean,
I literally have that in my article, so that I have the Mark Schmidt quote in there. So I thought you were just pulling stuff.
That's too funny.
I'll give it a read after we get done filming. Don't worry.
Please do. I got to make sure it's.
Shout out Ryan Lombardi, pulling out some great content for Tap the Great Aurelian.
Shout out Anna Rich for giving me the opportunity.
Sure.
Appreciate them.
We're starting the shout out counter again.
Oh my gosh, it's you always do this shout out thing.
Hey, I love spreading the love.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Somebody I do want to shout out, though, Maximus Edwards from Duquesne.
Yeah.
I mean, in the loss, 18 points off the bench with 6 rebounds. I mean, he left it all out on the floor, and Drew Joyce, post-game, got almost emotional talking about the effort that he brought this team overall. And, I mean, you don't want to give the rival team credit, but, I mean, credit where the credit's due.
I mean, I felt like there were stretches, especially in that second half, where every shot was falling for him, and he just couldn't miss. I feel like there were so many opportunities where he was fade away in the corner, and he hit him. So, I mean, yeah, he played a great game today.
And forgive me if I'm wrong. I mean, is Maximus Edwards, is he really, like, is he usually, like, the highest point scorer on the team? Usually it's Trey Dinkins, correct? If I'm not
It
wrong.
is. Trey Dinkins averages like 13 a game. So
Yeah, I thought the Bonnies really shut him down today. I thought he was very limited. Something was going on, and he wasn't hitting free throws. He wasn't hitting easy shots. I think that's one of the reasons we snuck away with this win, if you ask me.
Trey
Yeah,
Dinkins had a few threes that like felt like they should have fallen. Like
Yeah.
it was like in and out. It happened a few times for Duquesne, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, I feel like Trey Dinkins played better than what his stat sheet shows. Like, he did hit some tough shots, but at the same time, Edwards really put that team on his back for a while.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Dinkins really struggling today, going 4 for 11 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3, 1 for 3 from the line,
That's the big
and
one.
Duquesne going 7 for 12 overall from the free throw line. And we've seen it firsthand with the Bonnies this season. If you're not hitting your free throws, you're not going to win the basketball game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Duquesne Dukes were on the other side of this travesty today.
Yeah, and especially when you lose a game by 5 points and you miss 5 free throws, it does not. It's not a good feeling.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, you hit those 5, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if you just hit like 2 or 3, it's a one possession game, and anything can happen.
Now that the St. Bonaventure has defeated the Duquesne Dukes, they move on to play the number 1 seeded VCU Rams, same time, 11:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
And this is a matchup that, I'm going to be honest, I'm excited for.
I'm a little scared, but I am excited. But I think the thing that's going to be most important is the guys stay level-headed, that they keep their head on their shoulders. There was a really cool moment during the game today. After at halftime, Bonnie's trailed by 9. They went out, did their little shoot-around at halftime. But then there was a moment where it's a few minutes that Council and Noel Brown had the rest of the team just huddled up under their basket. And I asked Melvin about this, and he just kind of said they had like a little bit of a heart-to-heart, and he said, "I need you guys, like, and like let's go do this." And Noel Brown had his back in that conversation. So it was a really cool moment to see that leadership, and I think those two are going to have a huge impact because they've been on this kind of stage before. They know what it's like to play in a high-intensity, high-level game like this. So they got to translate that to the other guys who haven't seen this, like LeJay Jones, like Jonah Hinton, who are both coming from JUCO.
Absolutely. You mentioned Melvin Council. The NCAA officially announced today that players who are exhausting their eligibility this year that played at a JUCO or non-D1 level previously in their career will gain an additional year. Of course, Melvin playing at Monroe Community College for his freshman and sophomore campaigns. But we don't know if Melvin Council is going to put on a St. Bonaventure uniform. I mean, God forbid. I hope he does, at the very least. But we don't know if this tournament is going to be the last time we see Melvin Council in the brown and white. So if it is, he wants to lay it all out on the floor for the Bonnies.
It definitely is possible, but I just love the energy he's been bringing, and I hope he continues to bring this.
And even Noel Brown, this is his last time putting on the brown and white.
Yeah.
And Noel Brown has been so vocal of how coming to St. Bonaventure University has just impacted his life for the better. It brought him closer to God. It brought him closer to his teammates. It just was a great life change for him. And you talk to Noel Brown, like, outside of basketball activities, he loves this place. He loves St. Bonaventure for what it is. And I think that just is a testament to just this university as a whole. But Noel Brown's a Bonnie for life, and he wants to go out on a good note.
Definitely. I think all these guys do. I want to ask you guys, because with about 13 minutes to go in the second half, I thought there was no chance that the Bonnies were going to win. I'm going to be completely honest. And I'm usually not one to give up on my teams. Like, I usually stick it out to the last buzzer. But for some reason today, it just felt like impossible. It felt like every time we went on a run, they responded with points of their own. Every time it felt like we had the momentum, we couldn't hit a shot. And actually, I'm going to admit to this, with 13 minutes to go, I wrote the ending sentence of my article, and it was like, the Bonnies finished the season 21-11.
Wow.
And I can't believe I wrote it. And when I went back into the media room after to finish my article, I read it, and I was like, why did I write that? Like, why did I have any doubt? But just this has been it was like the first time I was like, nothing is going our way. There's no chance we can win this game.
I mean, I had my doubts and reservations too. Shout out SBU Unfurled on Twitter. He had tweeted out, it was a bad day to have a bad day for Noel Brown.
Yeah.
And he was really struggling in the first half and the beginning of the second half, and really just the team as a whole. But I think everyone at the U10 mark of the second half, just something switched.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like with like 12 minutes left that Duquesne led by 13, and St. Bonaventure responded with like a 7-0 run, led by Melvin Council and his 4 steals to really propel the Bonnies forward and give them a shot at the game.
Something about that second half. It was almost like perfect. Like everything they had to do right, they did right. Like who goes on a 13-1 run to win the game? That's unbelievable.
I will say everything they did right. Everything they did was right under the 10-minute mark. Before that, it just could not go our way. It was like miss three after miss three. We missed like 3 threes on one possession. It just felt like impossible. And then all of a sudden, like you said, something clicked.
Yeah. To your point, at the 12-minute mark in the second half, the ESPN app projected Duquesne a 93% win probability.
Wow.
It felt like in that what would be a third quarter, the Bonnies just couldn't rebound the basketball. They couldn't get the ball away from Duquesne when they missed their shots or get second chance opportunities. And then all of a sudden, something switched, like you guys are all saying, in the under 10 mark, and they came back and won it. I mean, it is a shock that they came back and won this game.
Yeah. It's a shock, but it's not at the same time because this team has fight in them. Mm-hmm. They have played through adversity. I mean, there's only 8 scholarship players that are dressing right now for the Atlantic 10 tournament, and I think that's just that they're going to go down fighting, and I think that just shows how this team can play hard and play hard through adversity.
Absolutely. And whatever tenacity they had to dig deep this second half today to get through the game, they've got to come through with that all 40 minutes tomorrow.
100%. VCU is they almost looked unbeatable in conference play. I mean, they had 3 losses. Their last loss coming at VCU in a meaningless game for the Atlantic 10. Obviously, they probably could have used that for an NCAA tournament bid. But
I don't know that it would say meaningless because that game, had VCU won, they clinched the outright Atlantic 10 season tournament.
But
season champions, excuse me.
It just felt like a game that Dayton was going to win. I don't know why. You
mentioned VCU had 3 conference losses. Who was one of those conference losses, Ryan?
That would be the St. Bonaventure Bonnies to open Atlantic 10 play on New Year's Eve. Back last on New Year's Eve, yeah. That was a great game. And Melvin Council Jr. with the game winner in that one.
Yeah, what a game. And I mean, you're looking at Duquesne was 1-1. VCU, that's 1-1 now. I don't know how we keep ending up in the tournament when we've won one, they've won one. I can't even tell. I don't know how this game is going to turn out, but I can tell you it's going to be an uphill climb for the Bonnies.
It's do or die time. One team's got to go home,
and
I will be damned if it's the St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope it's not. Yeah, but again, it's an uphill battle. This is the biggest moment of the season. Obviously, this is the biggest game of the season. This is one of the biggest games in the Atlantic 10.
Absolutely.
Probably period. Yeah.
Looking at the VCU roster, they are led by Max Shoga, 15.5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, shooting 41% from 3. I mean, this guy, it feels like every time he comes to the Riley Center, he's just lights out. I mean,
well, we're not in the Riley Center, Jack. We are in Washington, D.C., so definitely got to use that to their advantage. But VCU, they have a big fan base. They travel well. They're going to have a lot of fans in the crowd. So it's going to be probably the most electrifying atmosphere that the A-10 tournament has seen so far, like this championship week. But it's going to be a good one. And I think both fan bases kind of want to see each other. Yeah. I think there's a little bit of I think both teams kind of root for each other to do well in the Atlantic 10, but when it comes time to play each other, I think it's always a good matchup.
I've got a question for you guys. So VCU had a double bye. Would you value the rest that you get on that double bye, or would you value the game experience you got from playing in that first game? Like, look at the way that the Bonnies came out in this one. They looked so rattled. But now I feel like they're kind of comfortable almost. They know what they're up against. They know what they're dealing with. They know what surface they're playing on. Would you value playing in that first game or having the double bye more?
Okay, here's a stat for you before you guys answer.
Okay.
Last year, quarterfinals with the teams in the double bye. St. Joe's 66 over number 1 Richmond 61. VCU, the number 5 seeded VCU Rams, 73 over UMass, who was the number 4 seed, 73-59.
When UMass
St. Bonaventure over Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago was the 2 seed. They also had the double bye. And Duquesne over Dayton. All 4 teams last year with the double bye were eliminated in their first game.
I'm just
it's
saying.
a long time to sit.
I remember that. it was madness last year.
This
it was literally March Madness.
They have not played since Saturday.
Yeah.
These teams, and now you're going up against a St. Bonaventure team that just played today. You're going to go against a St. Louis team that just played today. So I think having the single bye is almost an advantage. Obviously, then it's harder. You got to win 4 games in 4 days. By the 3rd and 4th game, you're a little tired, but so does everybody else if you can get by those top 4 seeds.
Yeah, I mean, for VCU themselves, I think I value the rest that they get for them because, for example, Philip Russell, their point guard, missed the last game of the season against Dayton. I believe it was a foot injury. He could be back. He should be back in time for conference play, but that double bye gives him just a little longer to rest and be 100% healthy.
Yeah.
But look, going into this, the Bonnies now have momentum. They have momentum on their side. They figured out that even when they don't play their best basketball, they can still find a way to win the basketball games. And that's something they're going to need to do tomorrow against VCU when times get tough, and they know that they can bounce back.
And you mentioned first of all, he had an injury, so he's been out another week. This guy's been sitting ages. How well is he really going to show up when they need him most under the brightest lights?
Very true. I mean, he might have to knock some rust off, but I mean, if we do remember, Philip Russell had quite the career game in the Riley Center.
Yeah.
I will say, here's what I expect tomorrow. I don't want to give like a final score prediction. What I expect is I think VCU is going to come out cold. I'm going to be completely honest. I think St. Bonaventure comes out hot. They have a little bit of momentum going. Now, we've seen this happen with St. Bonaventure, especially on the road. Obviously, this is a neutral site, but still, where they go up at halftime, they play a very solid first half, and then fall apart in the second half. It happened at VCU, who they'll see tomorrow. It happened at St. Joe's, and it happened at Rhode Island. All 3 of those games, St. Bonaventure took a strong lead into the half and ended up losing it in towards the final minutes. So what I need to see from St. Bonaventure is that fight till the end. They got to play a complete 40 minutes tomorrow if they want to crack at this VCU team.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for this Bonnie squad is they have to stay out of foul trouble. The last 2 games in a row now, Noel Brown picking up 2 fouls in the first half, being forced to sit. And with Noel Brown being our only true big man currently healthy, we need him on the floor at all times whenever we can have him out on the floor.
It's tough because I think outside of Melvin, Lejay and Chance are probably our best defenders. And when you have Lejay or Chance having to drop into that big man, it was Lejay today, and he actually did really well playing for Noel Brown at the 5 position. But like when you need to have one of your top defenders kind of drop into a lesser role down low, it's hard to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
especially with guards like VCU has that can shoot the 3 ball, it's going to be tough.
That was exactly going to be my point. This VCU squad can shoot the lights out of any gym if you allow them to. So this Bonnie squad really has to protect the 3. They've got to protect the paint. This VCU squad is just balanced all around in all 3 levels of scoring.
Yeah.
So the Bonnies really have to crack down and just play really heavily guarded defense.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, I think that's one of our weakest, defending points is from outside, from the 3, where we kind of just let them shoot and see what happens. And if you let these guys get hot, it's not going to end up well.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that's all we have for now. Thank you for joining us. As always, I'm Jack Haskell, joined by Ryan Adio, Gavin Watson, and Ryan Lombardi. Stay tuned on our Afterthought Sports social media channels. We'll have live reactions, content, interviews, all the fun stuff. Good night from Washington, D.C.